One of the tools used by seasoned investors to predict which ETFs and sectors to invest in is known as the RRG, Relative Rotation Graph. You can see on this graph, it looks very interesting because it shows the movement of which sector is moving into the lagging, improving, leading and weakening sector. To explain this graph further, you can see that the x-axis has a score of 100 in the middle, and anything above 100 means that this particular sector is outperforming the S&P 500. Anything below 100, it means that it is underperforming the S&P 500. And on the y-axis, you can see a scale of 100. If it's more than 100, it means that this particular sector is outperforming the S&P 500 at an increasing rate. If it's below 100, it means that it is outperforming at a decreasing rate. So what seasoned investors does is looking at the RRG. When a particular sector goes into the improving zone, which means that they are increasingly going to outperform S&P 500 but not yet, that's where we'll start to buy. And when they start to move into the leading zone and begin to drop, indicating signs that they are slowing down in terms of outperforming the S&P, we will start to hold and begin to sell. Once they are in the weakening zone, that's the time to get out of the sector, and when they are in the lagging zone, we'll wait and avoid in that sector. Using the energy sector as an example, you can see that this is what sector rotation looks like. A particular sector will typically goes into a leading zone to the weakening, lagging, improving and back into the leading. Each sector behaves slightly differently, and when we add them together, we can see which sector to look at right now. Looking at the nearest term, you can see this particular brown line which indicates the technology sector is moving from the improving zone to the leading zone, indicating that they're going to outperform S&P 500 at an increasing rate. So it's a good time to shift our money there. At the same time, sectors to probably avoid is the communication service sector, the energy sector, industrial sector, and also the materials sector. RRG is a useful tool for us to dive into the sector and look for the winners within the sector to invest in. To learn more about investing, follow this channel and also click on the links around to get more free resources.